Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired, episode number 56. This episode of Cutting the Bullshit of Busy, I am doing because of a client session I had last week. This client told me all the things he was busy with and all of these circumstances that felt very real. And what I lovingly let him know was busy has no place here. Society we live in today, being busy is an acceptable excuse. Like a lot of people will take that, but not when you coach with me. When we say that we're busy or you're too busy, it is a flashing sign that your life is controlling you instead of you controlling your life. Busy is surface level. It's like overwhelm. It is vague. And our brain throws it out there to keep us from investigating further. But what is underneath the busy? Busy is a cloudy or a chaotic state with either your energy, your mind, or your intuition. When you are feeling super busy, it is a clue that either your mind, brain, your energy, emotions, your feeling, vibration, the frequency that you're putting out, or your internal authority, your intuition, you, the human, the soul, one of those three things is out of tune. I understand what it is like to feel busy. There was a time a couple of years ago that I worked full-time in corporate. So at least 60 to 80 hours a week running global PR and communications for entertainment studio and digital publisher. I also was running my own business at the time. I had a one-on-one coach. Every week I would do my one-on-one coach at 6 a.m. Sometimes it was even 5:30 a.m., depending on my workday that day. I was in a mastermind. I had an active social life. I was a devoted dog mom. I was a romantic partner. I was training for a half marathon. I went to church every week. I went to tap dance class. I was on the board of directors. And I was up to date with all of my Real Housewives franchises. I do more now than I ever did before, and I don't feel busy. I don't feel overwhelmed. I end each day more energized than when I started. And I do HIIT workouts 5 days a week. I don't even use the word busy. I call bullshit on my brain when it tries to go there, because when it tries to throw up the busy excuse, it just means I'm avoiding putting myself out into the world or trying something new, or maybe being rejected or having to sit with some uncomfortable feelings or having to figure something out. Like busy is a tool brains use to try and get us to stay small. When you throw up busy, or when I hear busy, like for my client that I'm dedicating this episode to, it's a way for me to know and for you to know that, hey, there's some fear, there's some resistance, there's something going on. Let's be curious. Busyness is just a smokescreen for all of that. And busy is always a lie, and it is not a useful way to be. We don't need to lie to ourselves, okay? We are here for the truth, and it's not going to help you get closer to your goals, closer to success, closer to satisfaction, and closer to the incredible, incredible human being that I know you are capable of being. And so the first question I want to ask is, how many times a day do you say or think that you are busy? What does busy even mean? How is that helpful to you? What I find is when clients say that they are busy, they are looking for validation. When you're saying you're busy, you're saying, hey, look at me, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. I would like some help or validation or credit for what I'm doing here. When you're busy, you're being a human doer and not a human being. And a lot of times saying and believing that we are really busy is a way for us to feel important. The busy badge. It also means that we are living in a frantic way and trying to do lots of things in order to keep up with everyone else. You can have a lot of things on your calendar, a lot of things that you're doing or that you want to do and not feel busy, because busy is a feeling that comes from our thoughts. It does not come from all of the stuff outside of you. And your constant busyness is actually getting in the way of the life that you desire from happening. So let's stop the glorification of busy. Believing that you're too busy is a bullshit lie from our toddler brain that a lot of us accepts as truth. The way I like to think about this is like toddlers when they insist they aren't tired and they're yawning with huge tears running down their frustrated face. Like no human is ever too busy. But when we're staying busy, we are choosing to distract ourselves. A lot of us who are achievers in type A and really want to make our lives better, we sort of take on busyness without questioning it like it's a badge of honor. And it feels kind of important. You must be doing something really significant or accomplishing a lot if you're busy. And I'm saying that's bullshit. Because busy just means that you haven't yet learned how to really focus in and get clear on your priorities for what it is that you're thinking and feeling, and that you are leading with your inner authority, with what you want, not what everyone else wants. We have a busy epidemic in our world right now because most adults don't know how to be still. And I am saying this as a proud woman with ADHD. So like being still is not something that comes naturally to me. In our world today, there is so much stimulus around us. We have the notifications on the phone. We have a 24/7 news cycle. We have more information than we could ever read in our entire life if we even like wanted to. And every corner and every turn, someone wants us to pay attention to their message, their idea, their product. And it's really led to most adults being very uncomfortable with being still and having spaciousness. Even on vacation, right? Like our vacation needs to be scheduled. We need to have activities and excursions. Most humans don't know how to just sit with our brains and do nothing except be with ourselves and our inner world and our own energy. If you don't know how to be comfortable being still with yourself and your thoughts, schedule a little bit of time in your day to turn everything off when there's nobody around you, turn off all the stimulus, and even turn off music and just be with your thoughts. That could look like meditation, but I have the easiest way to tell you right now. Put your phone on airplane mode, and I want you to put it across the room, and I want you to set the timer for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds for you to get back over to where you're going to be. And then I just want you to stare at the wall. Yeah, just stare. Just stare. Like don't read anything. Don't fixate on what needs to be clean. Just like stare at a blank wall. And do this every day for 1 week. And I can guarantee that you will feel a lot better at the end of that week. And if you keep doing this, you will actually have a better brain and higher energy if you do this for 1 month. If you do it for 1 year, then you actually increase your intelligence by like 5%. But just try it 5 minutes a day for 1 day. When you are getting still with yourself, you are teaching yourself, your brain, your inner authority, your energetic systems, you're letting yourself know subconsciously that you don't need to be go, go, go all the time, and that you can be important and you can feel confident and you can feel fulfilled and successful in your life. You can do that just by being who you are, and staring at the wall for 5 minutes a day is the first step to doing that. Most of you are busy with things that don't matter at all. And this is where you, your soul, your inner authority, the human being who lives inside your body needs to step in, because brains are not meant to make decisions. In fact, go to my Instagram at Courtney Love Gavin. I just did a post talks about what our brains are meant to be used for. And I list all of the wonderful capacities of this organ and muscle known as our brain, but making decisions is not one of them. And a huge culprit of being busy is if you are letting your brain be the decision maker. That's like letting a toddler do your hair and makeup. Wildly inefficient. Can you imagine if you let your toddler pick out all the foods that you ate as a family, or paint the color of your walls? I remember my niece Samantha really wanted to name her younger sister Rainbow Baby. If we would have let a 4-year-old who at the time thought that that was the coolest name, then Peyton would be named Rainbow Baby. What does matter to you? My clients will tell me I have to make dinner, I have to get the kids to their activities, I have to take care of this person, I have to call this person back, and whatever else you're telling yourself that you have to do, most of it doesn't really matter. I want you to just pause right now, take a minute and write down all the things that you think you need to do in your typical day, or even for this week, and then stop and ask yourself, what really matters here? And don't believe your brain when it's like all of it is important. I can't drop one single thing, because that is not true. Like, your house genuinely doesn't have to be clean. And I'm saying this as a former neat freak where the Container Store was my favorite store. Okay. Also, like, you know what? You don't have to take anything to that barbecue. It's not a potluck. It's okay to show up empty-handed. We put all of this pressure on ourselves and we believe these lies that we have to do all these things, and it really just contributes to all of this busyness bullshit. Tell yourself that you want to do them if that's true. If you really, really want to vacuum the house every day, if you want to do that, and you think that is the best use of your time for your future, then do it. But so many of you are lying to yourself. And you're saying, I have to do this and nobody else does it. All that it does is it gets you into a pity party. And you get resentful and just all around low vibes and frequencies. So let's drop it like it's hot and powerfully decide that I do all of this because that's who I am and that's what I like to do. And who better than me, right? Like, I'm very good at it and I'll do it and I'm going to enjoy doing it and I want to do it. And when you come at it from that experience, then it's a way, way better vibe and frequency. Can't you even feel it in my voice? Than self-pity and resentment and, oh, I have to do it and no one else would do it. Woe is me and all that bullshit. Okay. Now, I have a human brain just like you. And so I have to take a step back from my life at least every week. And I ask myself, like, what really matters right now? For example, I love a clean house. Like, I would just love to wear white gloves and go around to all of my baseboards and surfaces and any place that there is dust to make them completely immaculate. Like, if it were up to me, my Roomba would be running like 4 times a day, but Chandler is terrified of the Roomba. So I use it when we are out of the house or when he is at daycare. But I could spend all day cleaning up my house and clean it up again. And then when Chandler messes it up and clean it up again. And I could spend hours every day having a clean house, but cleaning all the time is not creating my best life. And having a live-in housekeeper isn't helping me and my brain get okay with the mess in the long run. What am I going to do? Just travel with my housekeeper everywhere? Hi, Karen and Rosario. Love, Will, and Grace. So when I look around, my brain is like, this is such a disaster. Like Chandler's toys, the dog hair, the Amazon boxes. My brain wants to go there and my brain wants to be like, I got to clean all this up. What you'll tell me is I just can't focus until it's all clean. And hello, remember ADHD brain here. I'm calling BS on what we can focus on. We want to do it because it feels a lot easier to take the action so that we don't have to have the thoughts anymore of why is that stuff out there? Like, we just want to get rid of the uncomfortableness. Like, being busy and cleaning up is a form of buffering. And an alternative is to choose what you're going to think instead. And what I choose to tell myself is none of this matters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there are dishes in the sink and Chandler's toys on the floor. It really doesn't matter. And then I ask myself, what does matter? And when I ask myself that, I want to look back on my life and go, you know what? I helped people. I made a significant change in the world. I made the way that people looked at their consciousness and their energy and their playfulness in a completely different way. I do not want to look back and go, I had a clean house and an immaculate car 90% of the time. Like, who the fuck cares? Ask yourself what matters right now. Don't let your brain throw you into busyness with all the things it thinks that are important and all the things that other people tell you are important when you look at the people outside of you. That's all conditioning that you've picked up. One thing that I do want to compassionately say to you is I know a lot of you stay busy, especially you overachievers, is because being busy, you get something from it. You feel like you're only as good as your last win or your last accomplishment, or you feel like you constantly have to stay in motion and you are really turned on by external validation. When you stop the bullshit of busy, it frees you up. It gives you space where you can be alone with yourself. And for most humans, that is uncomfortable because human brains would rather be go, go, go than have space and downtime. And Some of you are like this. You're like me. You're a former workaholic, or maybe you're a current workaholic, and every minute of your life or your kids' lives are scheduled, and you just want to keep it moving because when you stop, you feel restless and you don't know who you are if you're not busy, and you don't know what to do with yourself if you just sit and relax and you're not on vacation. Who are you when you're not doing all the things that you do? Like, who are you as a person? With take away all the titles, take away mom, daughter, work title, like all those things. Like, who are you? I'm wired to work hard AF. And when I'm done working, my brain goes, I just want to do some more. Like, I have all these things that aren't done and I could work on, and that sounds really exciting. For me to just sit and be still and to be in my life, that was so uncomfortable at first. Like, pausing podcasts for the month of July was the hardest thing I've ever done as an entrepreneur. But giving myself that space and stillness to figure out who I am and put my energy into other areas, not by doing, but putting my energy just into being present with myself, only for 1 month. This increased my capacity for work and to handle my business and the quote unquote busyness, like by 100%. I'm telling you, I am doing so much more now with way more space in between because I did that for myself. Ask yourself what really matters. And is what you're stressing about today going to matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, let it the fuck go. Be really conscious and intentional and careful about what people, places, and things that you are allowing into your schedule, into your home, into your life, and just into your consciousness. When you start feeling busy, that's when your brain and your energy and inner authority have lost their way. And that is a warning sign that you aren't plugged into your power and you need to direct your brain because it's lost sight of what matters and now you are being dragged by it. And all of y'all are way too pretty to be dragged. And pretties, when you choose to think about your life in this way and you think about yourself in this way and you notice that your brain tries to go to busy and you grab the steering wheel and you start thinking so clearly and you become so focused that you are able to get so much done, it is going to be so amazing. I can already see that future for you. If you're nodding your head yes, listen closely because I might have the solution you've been searching for. My Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, a 6-week, highly individualized one-on-one coaching experience designed exclusively for perfectionists like you. Your perfectionism is actually your greatest asset, and leveraging it can be hard work or take years of guesswork. That's why in Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, I give you my key frameworks to taking charge of your Ferrari drive, proven to work even for the most type A, high-strung, stubborn perfectionists. In the first 30 days, you will cut your burnout in half. Increase your professional fulfillment by at least 150%, and your self-compassion will go up at least 250%. And that is just your first 30 days. So if you want to save yourself years of trial and error, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator today. Or if you want to take the easy way, just click the link in the show notes to check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator.